You're listening to The Forgotten Faction, brought to you by Dads of Destiny Westside. Visit us at dodwestside.com or follow us on Twitter at dodwestside. Hey guys, how y'all doing this week? We got all of our usuals here today. We got System, we got Doc, we got HD, and we even have a special guest today. Steel Darkblade from the clan is going to help us out today because there is a hell of a lot to talk about. So you guys ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Yes. So much. So after EA got stomped on repeatedly by their fan base, Bungie decided to not have a third stream because they saw what was coming and they realized that was probably going to be a really bad idea. And they canceled their third stream and instead put out a state of the game address. A state of Destiny 2, they called it, a little blog update. And that's really what we're going to focus on today because it's a ton of stuff that's in there that's really important for the direction of this game. We're going to do a separate podcast that should be released, fairly soon after this one is. That's just for lore, and we're just going to talk about kind of a lot of things that you could really know. I was going to say everything, but System says that you can't do everything you need to know in an hour and a half podcast about the Vex and Osiris.
Not at all.
It's going to need 5 hours, but I don't think we're going to have the time for that. But we're going to have a lot of really good things that'll be really helpful for you to understand the backstory going into that DLC. But we'll be recording that separately after this episode. So this episode is focused on the state of Destiny 2 update on the blog and our thoughts on that. So hope you guys enjoy. So what do you guys, what's your general thoughts and feelings on this?
This was a very well-placed fist of panic. That is, it was very well done, but I will give them credit. It gives us everything that we wanted to know.
Completely. I wouldn't say everything, but it at least gives me enough to placate me a little bit to just say, okay, I'll hold off for now. You give me some information.
Yeah, until we actually experience it hands-on. I'm glad that they addressed that there was a problem because, for a time they turned a blind eye and everyone just complained, and then finally the whole XP throttling issue arose and they addressed that head on, which I felt was responsible. And now, they took it upon themselves to cancel something showing us what we could get with broken systems and, address the fact that they need to fine-tune their mistakes. And
did we all listen to the podcast?
I did not.
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
Which I think that was also, I think it was very well done. And I think you pretty much get the gist of it in about the first 13 or 14 minutes. And it really just says that they're realizing that, which took them long enough, but they know that they shifted the game too far towards the casual, and they're putting players into 3 bins. Do you guys remember this on the podcast? You got the what they say?
Tourists, collectors, hobbyists.
There you go.
Yes.
And they're pushing it more towards the hobbyist because that's us. Those are the guys that put in 500, 800, 1,000 plus, some 2,000 plus hours into D1 and want to do that for D2. We're the hardcore fans that they really should be putting a little more time into, and they're getting that. They seem to be getting that at least, and that's what they were saying. That's the gist of the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, they just full on admitted, hey, we do what we normally do, and when we do a change, we overcorrect. And they said, so we're going to try to find that middle ground between the filthy casual and the full-time streamer. And,
which I'm all for them trying to bring more people into the game. It's just, again, which we've discussed, is they went a little too far and made it so that we're running out of crap to do.
Well, the fact that they also pretty much outright said, we heard the complaints, we kind of stuck our heads in the ground, and instead of choosing to outright say, hey, we're doing this, we're going to fix that, this is why we're not able to do it immediately. They apologized for the fact that there was not a lot of communication on their end, and they very much so corrected it, saying, we learned, we understand now why we're getting the complaints we're getting about our communication.
It seems like they got wrapped up so deeply in, the hype for the second iteration in the franchise, and all the marketing and all the buzz. I think they forgot who was still playing, Destiny 1 at the end. They were so excited to bring in new people, with all these new fancy toys and better graphics and new systems, that they forgot, who stuck around through every single DLC since the beginning. So I'm glad that they're readdressing the fact that, they need to cater to those people who are diehards or hobbyists, that those are the people that are going to keep bringing in, cash flow and the YouTube streamers who make content which is based on the fact that, their game works and their game works well.
Well, another thing that they also stated was that they were so focused on the PC release that some things were pushed off because if they touch one thing, they don't want the whole thing to come crashing down.
Well, and that was, so their example case for that was that bureaucratic walk glitch. And they basically said, the PC release was coming out and we didn't want to touch the server lest we accidentally break something else and then break the game for everybody. Which I get, but they addressed that there wasn't enough communication from particularly the development team. We get constant communication from Deej and Cosmo, but the development team, we had one update like a month ago, like, hey, here's our potential roadmap, and that's it. That's all we've gotten. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, like, Luke Smith. He even mentioned on the podcast that his Twitter has been purposefully silent.
They weren't just talking about the communication from the development team being weak, but also, like, to us, the gamers, rather. But they were also saying something along the lines that they felt that just internally in Bungie, the different groups that were working on this didn't seem like they're communicating well enough to Deej information so he could handle all the input that we, the users, are trying to give, or all the feedback we've been trying to give.
No, he even mentioned that, like, there was a lack of communication within the studio, like, amongst each department. And I think I brought this up last week, and that
I think you did.
There wasn't, it didn't seem like there was communication between departments, and it turned out to be true. There were things that they weren't speaking to each other about, and it was up to Luke and Mark to mesh all those things together. And they brought it up in, vidocs before the launch, that some things weren't making it in, and they were trying to, get things working. You had all these tiny little departments going through these two people, and it didn't work. And, like, they realize that now that they have to work on that better, and that they will. And that's what a lot of this is, that they're going to communicate better. They're going to take the time in between things, that, some things may stay broken for a little bit longer, because they want to make sure that when they do fix it, they're fixing it correctly, and that Mark and Luke are going to actually look at things at a broader spectrum and go, okay, is this working with this? Is this working with this? And, another thing that came out with all this drama with, everybody talking on Reddit and talking about the game, and the state of it, is that, it came to light that somebody, whether this is true or not, somebody put a review about the Bungie Studios, and that it's exactly what we thought. They're not talking amongst each other. The art department thinks they're superior because they're artists. The designers think they're superior because they're designers. the coders think that they're superior, so there you've got this bitter rivalry going on in the studio, and so things were bound to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And it was proof with this game, and so they're trying to make it right. They're going, hey, if we don't fix this, we're going to lose our entire player base, our most secure members that do want to play a lot. We're going to lose them, and then our game is going to die. They saw what happened with the Division. This fallout from EA. Their stock dropped. It went through the floor. It was horrible.
3.1 billion.
Yeah, they lost so much money, and they don't want to make that same mistake, so they're trying to get ahead of it. And that's I think they're doing it properly.
The best comparison that he said was it's kind of like open heart surgery. They don't want Deej or Cosmo to announce something, and then immediately after an announcement they go, well, did the QA department hear about this? Does the art department know about this? Does this department know about this?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you say, okay, the developers like, we're setting up this system, doesn't mean, and they already outright said that necessarily the art director knows anything about it. So if you have that disconnect between departments, you're gonna see it reflected in the actual product that they're producing.
Right. And then there were other concerns they had about just straight up timelines. Like there's things they want to do, but they just didn't know when it was going to make it. So, even the Masterworks thing that they announced, which we'll cover in a few minutes, like when they did Stream 1, they didn't even know if it was going to make it for December 5th. So it was just cut from the stream. Something that would have made a lot of people happy was just straight up cut because they didn't know if it was going to make the launch. And they didn't want to, again, promise people something and it not happen.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like their studio isn't as small as it was when they made D1. Like it's grown 4 times as big than it was, and so you have a lot more people. And it seems like they didn't put leaders for each department. They didn't put the right people in those leadership spots.
Or maybe not enough of them.
I think they didn't put people that work well together in those leadership spots. So the art lead doesn't necessarily work well with the design lead. And so they butt heads and they do those few moments. Well, we're going to do this anyway. So you're going to have to deal with it and make it work how we designed it. And, that's never good for a company. And that seems kind of like what happened. It was a lot of fuck you moments in between each department.
And if that's happening between departments, I can only imagine with them bringing on, smaller studios to help out, what it could be like with that. Because you'll have, you have Bungie, who essentially is, this is our game. And if you have other studios looking in going, well, you brought us to help.
Well, they brought those other studios, like Vicarious, they're literally there for the PC port.
Yeah.
And so they are dealing with what's already made and they're adjusting things for PC. So they're kind of shelling the game essentially. So they can only do as good as what's given to them.
Yeah.
But the main core, the main game, which is made for console, is made by Bungie directly. And
not to mention you also have Activision, who's sitting on top of its high horse.
Well,
whatever it is Activision does.
Right, but as long as they're bringing in the money, like Activision could care less what they do because that was part of the contract. They have full creative control.
Yeah,
so
you
as
make
long
the product.
as it brings in the money, Activision could care less.
Yeah, you make the product, we'll leave you alone. As long as it's making us profit.
And that's why in the earnings call, the last earnings call for Activision, they sounded so happy about the division because it was top of the list for so long. And right after launch, they were so happy, but they didn't realize how bad it actually was for the community immediately after launch. I'm sure if the earnings call happened now, it would be a whole nother story.
Oh my God, yes.
Agreed. So I think we could say overall with this, and we're gonna dig into a lot of these details here in a second, but I think we're all at least on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the game's perfect, with these fixes, and one being this is, I don't know, the worst thing they could have possibly ever done. Like I don't know, Crota's
Why
End.
am I playing Paper Mario instead of Destiny?
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, where do you guys feel like if these updates get put into place on the timelines that they've suggested, and they go in as has been explained, where would you guys put this game on like your happiness scale of where things are? I mean, because I'm looking at all this and I'm kind of like, I'm probably at about a 6 or a 7.
I was gonna say, with everything that the list has given us, knowing that Bungie doesn't always tell us everything, for surprise reasons,
Mhm.
I'd give it to like a 6, 7, depending on what else comes around, maybe an 8. But only time will tell. They just need to make sure that they deliver on the things that they're telling us, or at least keep us informed.
Right. And there's a few other things that are in place right now that we'll get to later that I still think need to be changed. But what about system HD Steel?
I think they're great. I think, as it was explained, I think these are really great and kind of rejuvenate the way I feel about the game. Overall, yeah, I definitely agree with most of these. There's a few things that I don't agree with, and I think it's like, why would you do this? But I'll bring that up when we get to those specific points.
Okay.
Me personally, I am probably sitting at a 5. I love Destiny 1, put in more than, 1,400 hours into it. And, come to this game, and it was exciting until we hit that wall. And, these changes sound promising, but like I said, I need to experience them firsthand, because some of them, sound like they'll be kind of cool. And, the other ones don't sound so, different, or, they don't sound like something like Destiny 1 would have done. Like in my personal opinion, I think they shouldn't have tried to fix what was not broken at the end of Destiny 1. Now, I'll give it, in the beginning, they had a lot to fix, but they worked on it. Taken King came out and all that sort of thing. But, I need to experience it firsthand. I need to get my hands on it, and I'll stick around for that. But in the past 3 weeks, I've, just like a lot of people, I haven't really touched it. I maybe played 3 Iron Banner games, wasn't in love with it, and I just haven't touched the game. So they really have to sell it to me again. So that's where I'm at.
Understandable. Steel?
Probably about the same as you. About a 7, optimistic 8, maybe. There's a lot of changes that are definitely moving in a positive direction, but it all comes down to the implementation. How well does this all play out once they put it in? Are there going to be more bugs? Are there going to be more issues when they put these in? It's definitely going to force me, or at least entice me, to stick around for a while.
I can see that. It's all about that deployment. That deployment can make or break it. So we'll see how they get implemented. So what just real quick before we move on to actually going line by line through this, because I always forget to do this every week. We actually need to like get those plugs in there, like where to follow us and where to find us on Twitter and those kinds of things. So just real quick, let's go through these. HD, you're not a Twitter guy.
Nope.
But what's your PSN? Full PSN?
H Discord.
H Discord. Real easy.
Yep.
But that's a not Discord like the app. It's Discord like.
No, there's an H after the C.
Not in one accord.
True. Like not that cord, but Discord.
Yeah. Discord. All right, Doc. Where can we find you on Twitter, Twitch, PSN?
God, I haven't actually looked at my Twitter to see what it actually is.
Jesus Christ!
Dude, I haven't been on Twitter and I haven't been Twitter like months, well, a couple weeks. I've been working a lot.
Okay.
Just go with PS4. It's Doc Holiday D0C H0L1DAYY. Yeah, I know. Dude, let me put it this way. I had like Doc Holiday legitimately spelt out when I had my Xbox, and then when I came over to PlayStation many moons ago, we'll call it, it was gone and taken, and I was upset.
Sad days.
So you turned to lead speak.
I had to. I had to.
System,
Dude, the
where can
person
we
that
find
has
you?
it. Ugh.
Because you know that person who has Doc Holliday doesn't play.
Oh, not at all. I look at it like every couple of months, and it's like it's inactive. Been inactive for like 2-3 years, and I just yell at my screen.
System, where can we find you?
System glitch _
On
everything.
except for my PSN.
No underscore there.
No, then it's just then it's 86 instead.
Oh, okay. All right. And you guys can find me, Zach Plays PS PSN on Twitter, and Zach Plays PS on Twitch, and just Zach Plays on PSN. That's confusing as all that is. And then our very special guest, Steel. Where can we find you?
PSN. PSN is just a Steel Darkblade, and then on not Twitch. I don't have a Twitch account. I'm not one of those people.
Well,
no.
I thought you have a Twitch.
You do have a Twitch.
Don't
Don't
lie.
even.
Don't lie.
Don't even. Nice
You
try.
have one.
I was gonna say.
Sorry. No, on Twitch, I am on Steel Darkblade as well.
Awesome.
Nice
And
try.
Steel's been a member of the clan for quite a long time. How long you been with us, Steel?
Probably a little over 2 years. Joined the clan about the time when my mom passed away. I know I made that all weird when answering that, but
Well then.
Some people mark things in different ways. It's understandable. And Steel is always a point of strife and contention within the clan, so we figured we'd bring him on to shit all over everything that Bungie has to say today.
I am the Exodus bringer. That is my title.
But no, he's a good guy, so we figured we'd get him in here and get a little bit of his opinions every now and then, and maybe bring a guest and kind of mix things up on the show, since we're pretty boring. So
I see you, Raven.
moving on, let's get into this line by line. Break it all down. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the first one. They're putting out some updates. They listed out specific things that are going to come out on December 5th and December 12th, the following week. Some of them are coming there on the 5th, which will be with the DLC. The other one should be coming in via a hot patch. So they haven't listed out the download size for the hot patch, but they did let us know that the DLC is an 88 gig.
Hold on, can I stop you there?
Needed.
Why do you keep calling it a hot patch? It's a hot fix.
Hot fix. Excuse me. That's the word I'm looking for.
He likes
That's
hot
what
patch.
That just bugs me. Like, what?
Okay, sorry. Hot fix. There you go.
The fix patch.
I'm getting patch notes and hot fix mixed up together.
Oh,
I mean, I guess.
Hot patch.
crazy amalgamation between the two.
All right. So, first thing on the agenda: new systems and rewards to give our most engaged players additional optional pursuits, including a new weapon tier called Masterworks, which will feature stat trackers, random re-rollable stat bonuses, unique item tooltips, and item details screens. And it says see the December update details section below for more info, which we will get to in just a minute. I read that wrong the first time I saw it, and I freaked out. It's not random perks. It's random re-rollable stat bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
I can
different.
actually you.
So essentially, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say it's actually an improvement upon what was in Destiny 1, where you could re-roll the entire stats for a gun. Instead, the stats are static for the gun, but you could get a perk that maybe ups your reload speed or enables a better target acquisition, that sort of thing. So it takes the gun and makes it better instead of gives you a trash version or an entirely great version. So
Correct. And there's a lot of unique things that could be within that. And I think it was interesting to read the one that they did show us. So I'm kind of excited to see how all that works out. But it's still a random, re-rollable something for that weapon. There's a lot of questions I still have about that. But we'll get to that when we get further down in this blog update. But that's huge for me. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. I mean, it to me, it's like giving the gun a extra perk slot that is re-rollable. So, like the one that they showed was
Mhm.
reload,
Mhm.
and so you can have a faster reload, which is great. What
Yeah.
And so, like that's awesome. Like I would love like my future war Colt hand cannon is pretty slow to reload. Like anything I can get to help that reload, like awesome, because that gun is amazing as it is. If I could get a better reload on that, perfect.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree, and I would love to see some sort of a counterbalance perk be available in there for if you want to run armor energy counterbalance mods and then run a masterwork counterbalance on your kinetic weapon. You could potentially level things out a little bit. I think that'd be a good option there.
Well, I think
Yeah, I think actually, sorry, Doc, but I think like the biggest question is the small loot pool for the small like pool for re-rolling.
Yep.
Like, is it different for
per weapon, or is it
each
right?
type?
Exactly.
So like you
Mhm.
can't get counterbalance or recoil on auto rifles because they're already pretty good, but you can
Right.
get faster reload or target acquisition.
Right, which we don't know. We don't know
Right.
yet. And
That's
actually,
that's
now
the
that
question.
I'm going through this kind of updates overview. I'm just going to skip down to the details section. We're just going to go through all of it as we go. Sorry, it's just me. I can't go through this like that. And I'm just coming down here, and I'm just going to get into all of it.
just imagine what it's going to do for meta, though. It's really going to change the game up.
It
Because-
is, and that's what the important part is, because I agree with System in that I see it as basically it's a fourth perk tree that's re-rollable.
Yeah,
Right.
like I think it's actually going to be good for the meta. I
Yes.
think it'll actually
gonna mix up the
widen the
meta a little.
variety of the meta.
Exactly what I see. I see it as making there could be potentially a lot of really good options that weren't available before that are now going to be really viable because that weapon just had one thing that just made it too unusable, and then when you add in something that you can re-roll, suddenly it becomes really good.
Well, what I'm more interested in is the fact that it will make dealing with certain other weapons a lot more viable when you can go and search for a reroll that will help you in that instance. If you know the meta is, say, Mida, finding something that will help you deal with that in itself will change up the game completely.
Oh yeah, like a nameless midnight with faster reload or faster firing speed. Imagine that.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That could be good,
like,
or even well, no, I guess that wouldn't do anything.
Or Firefly or Dragonfly, whatever that is.
but
Or
I think
explosive payload.
one thing I did notice, they didn't mention anything about the vault size. So like rip your vault if you want if you want a Uriel's gift with each of the possible rolls, like
Yeah.
rip
Oh my
your
gosh.
vault.
So I think there's a lot of really good things, but I don't think anybody's really talked about this yet. And this is my one possible concern with all of this. And they didn't detail anywhere how you were going to obtain the masterwork perks, right?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Where do they
They
list it?
completely did. It's down below.
You have a higher chance of getting it. Your highest chance is at the raid and trials, of course, because they're
Mhm.
end game activities. The other thing too is if you get a random drop of a masterwork gun, and you dismantle it, you get that masterworks consumable or whatever it is that makes it a masterworks, so you can put it on a different gun.
Okay.
So you're gonna be grinding out to get masterworks guns, doing, the trials and the raid to get those guns. And so you can dismantle it to make other guns masterwork.
Okay, so I heard that. Okay, I guess my only thing is they didn't mention that it looks like it could be easily done this way, and it has me concerned if they were to ever introduce that. But I don't think they will. But I'm really concerned that this seems ripe for microtransactions.
Something else that bugs me or that concerns me, and this may be jumping forward a little bit, but when they talk about making rewards better for people who do more challenging things and that sort of thing, like imagine for the prestige raid, for example, what if they were to say, okay, well, if you do the prestige callus raid, then you are guaranteed masterworks. Does that sweeten the pot enough for you to want to do it still?
Yes.
Even if you can still obtain those from other activities.
Depends
on how rare the drop it is.
Yeah, if you're guaranteed to get at least one during the raid, absolutely, I would do it.
Yeah, I know, but wouldn't you feel shafted if it was, like some terrible perk you didn't really care too much about?
No. Because if they're re-rollable, then it doesn't matter. It's that masterworks item.
So
what if you could get the same thing from like a heroic public event?
But the drop rate's supposed to be lower.
Right. Again, that's where the drop rate in those events has to be low enough that it basically makes a masterwork almost like an exotic.
It's that guarantee that really sweetens that deal.
It's weird. It's like an exotic legendary.
Just for the masterwork. I mean,
they're
improving the prestige.
Yeah. There should be ornaments and other exclusives of some.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to give.
There's currently no reason to do it, so they'd have to give us more than just masterworks.
I'm pretty sure they're going to change the perks on prestige raid gear so that there'll be a separate loot pool in itself. I'm sure they'll be different. They even mentioned the name of the raid layer armor, and like that just sounds badass to me. Like, cool, awesome, yeah, I'll totally do prestige just for masterworks guns if it's like guaranteed. Absolutely.
And what if the prestige drops masterwork weapons that have prestige specific perks on them? We don't know, right?
Right, we don't know. Absolutely. From the way they talked about prestige in general, like absolutely, I will totally be doing at least one, if not more, prestige. I mean, we're doing our raid runs in sub hour or barely over.
So another thing that's interesting to me about these masterworks, it looks like the track and display number of kills with that weapon and the generate orbs for you and your allies on multi kills seems to be a set perk.
Yeah, the kill counter was set for sure, and you could choose whether you want overall kill count or just crucible.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then the orbs, I don't know, I think they maybe have been using the generating orbs on multi kills as an example.
I thought it was an example, but then when you go down, you look at the way they put the sub points. It lists out 3 sub points. It says Masterworks have a few advantages over baseline legendary weapons, and then it lists individually track and display, generate orbs, and add weapon stat bonuses that are selected randomly from a small pool and rerollable. Like it has all 3 of those separate things.
Well,
so a stat bonus
if
generates orbs.
If you do generate orbs on multi kills, I'm pretty sure what multi kills. What 3 kills in a row?
Yes.
Or is it? Yeah.
3.
So
I think it's just a
I
double
thought it was 2 or more. Yeah, 2 or more.
So either way, you're probably only going to generate about 1 orb per multi kill streak.
Agreed.
Which hey, cool. That's fine. Yeah. That if you're pulling multi kills anyway, you're probably going to be getting ahead. And you're going to help your teammates. Like this is going to be really good for like the raid when you've got a ton of enemies going, and especially like with the way we do the raid now. Like as an example with the Callus, we rotate as a full team in the Callus room to take care of the ads. So we go left side, middle, right, and so we're each getting those multi kills. We'll be popping out orbs like crazy as a team to be able to do that much better, and like that'll make doing prestige easier. It won't be such an onslaught. So I think that's if it is a perk that's always there for generating on or multi kills, awesome, bring it on, love it.
I think it also might be a way to appease some of your more hardcore PvPers. Because when you think about it, if like Zach, I'll use Zach as an example. Zach's probably getting a ton of multi kills in a PvP match. And one of the big complaints that a lot of PvPers had, especially when they're really good, is I don't stand out because of the new way that they calculate things. Me doing extra work doesn't do anything. Now it does. Now you're actually providing more super energy for your team. You're providing orbs for your team. You are actually standing out in a way that 100% matters in a match.
Well, that's exactly what I'm sitting here thinking. But I was also thinking, because if we team fire 2 guys together, it counts as double downs for both of us, and we would both pop out an orb.
Exactly.
Which means it encourages team fire that much more. But it also rewards me if I just have to go off and pull a double down. My teammates, they benefit from that.
That's the question, whether they built it to work off of your KDA or straight KD. Like if it works off just you getting the kill, you have to get that multi-kill yourself.
Yeah. But I think all the medals are set up the other way, and I think that's how they track it, which means it's just going to be popping out orbs left and right.
Right, and then all of a sudden you have Dawnbreak Crucible.
I'm pretty sure they built it. I'm pretty sure it's both ways, like especially with ranked coming in. I think that's going to play a little bit more of a hand for the rank, and I think that's why they built it that way. And if those underlying rules are still there for straight yourself getting a multi-kill, being able to pop those orbs, they can implement that into it. And I think that'll be really good for ranked, because that'll help you build your super, be able to get that match over faster. You're going to be able to dominate. And so you're going to want to shut those people down that have that. So you have to have that counter. And, of course, I'm sure there will be a counter to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're the team getting stomped on, it's not gonna feel really fun when like all of a sudden they've popped 2 supers in a row because they keep getting multi kills and you're just sitting there with your thumbs twiddling like.
Right, but at the same time, that's part of why they also talked about making updates to spawn and other rules within the Crucible.
Well, I think that's part of the ranks. Like if a team or somebody's doing that, like just dominating, then they're going to be in a different ranking than you are.
And you're not going to play them in the rank.
You're not going to play them, and you're not going to play them consistently unless you're also that good. And then if you're not doing, well against this team, you're not adapting and you don't deserve to be in the same rank as them. So after that match, yeah, you're going to be a little upset after that match, but it's going to knock you down a peg in the ranks.
Yeah, to put you back at the kiddie table.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, or somewhere in between there, and that's kind of how Overwatch works. And the better you do, the higher the rank, and otherwise, you're just going to play against people that are your level.
I really don't think that the orb generation is going to change things in PvP too much.
I don't think it's going to change it too much, but I do think, because I have a lot of games, like I'll have a mildly good, a better than average game, and I'll get a super in like 3/4 or a super and a half, because I did well, but it wasn't amazing. But it would be really nice if I could consistently have 2 supers a game. I don't think it's going to be like 3 supers every game or something like that. It's not going to be popping out a ton of orbs, but if it gives me enough orbs that I get to that second super out pretty much every game, that'd add a lot of fun to it, because that was one of our biggest complaints up front, was that it just takes forever to get a super.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you get a super now, it's not the same as it was in D1, right? Where in D1 you get a super, you actually felt powerful using your super.
Mm-hmm.
Here in D2, you get a super. If you're not smart about using it, you're going to get team fired before you even get 1 kill.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And that's I think it's something that still needs to be adjusted. And one of those things where I'm kind of sitting back and like, man, that's something I'm still not that happy about. The time to kill in this game is still too long.
With the gunplay or just everything in general?
Just the gunplay.
Oh, it's way too.
Yeah,
it feels it's weird. You die really quick, but you can't kill someone really quick.
So what the way it's set up is they slowed down movement speed enough, and pairing they slowed down the time to kill enough that team firing you go down hard. But when you're in 1v1s, it just seems like it takes forever to kill somebody. And you don't feel as quick or as like you're saying, Steel, as powerful as we did in year one. Like in year one, I felt like I was a beast.
Yeah, you definitely felt like if you had your super, you could steamroll a team. Yeah. Now you have to play so smart to be able to steamroll a team. Otherwise, you're just going to get destroyed by the time you get to the second or third person. You're going to be almost dead.
Yeah, smart or lucky.
You get 3 kills.
Yeah, or lucky, exactly.
Yeah. You have to be playing really bad people, or you really got to play it well. And as soon as you pop it, I mean, they know now there's a visual indicator. Obviously, there was already an audible one, but there's even a visual indicator that like, hey, the super's going up.
And you know exactly what kind.
Yeah.
This past week, I actually managed to get a full team wipe twice with a Dawn Blade.
That's impressive.
Really? Dawn Blade?
I want your lobbies.
Yeah, with Dawn Blade. It was on the Retribution.
Nice.
Yeah, Dawn Blade can be really good in the right hand. I've seen some really slick plays. Like T1 Gigs, man. He's got really good plays with that Dawn Blade, and he loves it for PvP.
Like a floating target.
Yeah, but the dodge on it is really good if you can actually master that. That dodge and being able to wipe a team is ridiculous watching him do those plays.
Well, I wasn't using the dodge one. I was using the one where kills extend the duration. That's how I was able to get the team wipe twice.
Yeah, get the team wipe, yeah.
Have you guys seen...
Oh, was it one use? Like you popped it once and wiped them twice? Or you did it like two supers?
2 separate
supers.
No,
it was one super.
Oh, wow.
One super, I
got 8 kills.
3 or 4 of them the first time round. And then after that, I went around to I guess where the spawn would be, and they spawned right in front of me and I wiped them.
Oh, poor bad day.
Oh,
yeah. No,
and that kind of leads us into our next point is, straight into PvP and the supremacy spawning,
which is broken, super broken.
Yeah, it's broken, but
God.
Like they still didn't address the fact that that all the playlists are in, or all the game modes are in one playlist. Like, why are they going to keep that when obviously a majority of the community wants them separated? Like, why force me to play Supremacy if I don't want to? And then also, which brings up the fact that they're going to penalize quitters. Why?
I think when it comes to like not having separate playlists for what you want to play, the reason that they did it was to make it easier to matchmake people.
Right. I understand.
Empty playlists make it a lot harder, and by just forcing everybody into 2 playlists, it makes it much easier, as well as it forces people to get out of their comfort zone. You can't just sit in Clash and use the same mechanics and same methodology every single game to just sit back and, like Clash, you can just kind of sit back. It makes you mix it up.
But which is go ahead, Zach.
Which is okay. But I understand what you're getting at there. That system, like it's frustrating at times too. And I for the hardcore of us who have enough friends, we're just going to go play private matches, so we don't have to play Supremacy anymore. But when that drops in early 2018, which we'll get to in a minute. But for those who don't, you're just kind of stuck playing it. Or if you're on when other people aren't, you're just kind of stuck with that, which is a little frustrating. But I don't see that as many other things that are on this list. I just don't see that one as being a priority right now.
Well, yeah, or why not? At least say, hey, we hear you. Not everybody wants to play Supremacy. So why not ensure the rules that it is constantly rotating so you're not getting 5 supremacy matches
Supremacy games in a row, that'd be nice.
So you're always going to get, clash, control, supremacy, clash, control, supremacy. Like, that would be cool. That's fine. Sure.
Like a dependable rotation.
Yeah, then
I could see that.
Then I could quit halfway, before I go to the next one, because I'm like, oh, I know this is going to be supremacy next, so I'm out. Otherwise, don't penalize quitters because they're quitting because they don't want to play supremacy or clash or control. Penalize them for actually quitting because they're losing.
The other problem that I have with the quitter penalty is now that we no longer have like a visual representation of how people's latency is.
Mm.
If you have a whole team that's lagging on the other side and it's just, you can't, like, if it's making the game legitimately unplayable, you're telling, like, for Zach, if you're playing a game, not trials or anything like that, but you're playing a game and you have a whole team or a good portion of the other team where they are just teleporting all over the map,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, I can't, why am I going to play this? And you quit out, and then all of a sudden you get hit with some kind of...
Well, hold on, though. You forget something.
Mm-hmm.
I am a stubborn son of a gun.
You are a stubborn son of a gun.
And I don't quit.
But if you kept... But your average person...
Okay. Your average guy gets frustrated and quits.
Why are you going to penalize them for the other team?
Well, they haven't listed out how much of a penalty that's going to be, and what that exactly is. I was assuming it would be some sort of a based on how much time was left in the game, you can't join another game for that long. Which would be like against, that would really hurt the guys who quit in like round 1. They just get stomped by another team in the first round and they just quit. Or maybe in the second round they haven't gotten a kill, so they quit, and there's like 4 more rounds to go.
Well, yeah,
I mean, really gonna get taken, but like the people who get frustrated by lag, they usually don't quit until like it's like the last round.
That's
or
also
the round
true.
before last, and so they'd have the smallest penalty if it's some sort of scaled penalty system like we've been assuming. And they would be least affected by that. But at the same time, I can honestly probably count on one hand the total times where like I was frustrated, like I didn't want to play because the connections were that bad.
The only reason I bring it up is because I actually dealt with that a couple of days ago, where
in Iron Banner, right? Everybody deals with it during Iron Banner, and I swear I still don't know why Iron Banner is so bad, considering that there's not even power level matters, anymore in Iron Banner. There's really no reason for it to be bad, but Iron Banner is always bad.
And like, because I was thinking about it, and like I was like, I woke up early before work, and because I'm up so early, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a few rounds of Iron Banner. And that had me thinking, well, when I saw this, I was like, so for someone like me, I get put in a match that's disgustingly laggy on the other side, and I back out, I might as well just turn off the console at that point if I'm, just doing it for the morning or whatever when I'm getting ready for work or about to go to work. Might as well, okay, well, there goes, whatever time I had left, because I can't just quickly jump back into a game.
Well, you got to also remember, if you're doing it at a time like that, you're not going to be matchmaking with people that live close by you.
That's also true.
Because it's an off time for your area. So you're going to be matchmaking for people that are across the world because it's their afternoon.
But in general, solo queue, though, just hurts.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Not just like getting stomped by full teams, but at least for me, I've felt that lag is more prevalent when you're running solo queue.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
I think that has to do with like the server spreading the load between where everybody is located. And so you're more likely going to match with people closer to your team, or you're going to have that bridge. Say if it was us and Doc, that load between all of our internet and different placements is going to be spread out. And so it's going to match us with people that are similar latency for that as well. But
what you're
yes,
telling me is I need
whereas
to
solo
move.
queue, yes, you're going to match against a fuckload of random people.
So what you're telling me is I need to move.
Well, you are in a West Side clan living in the East Coast. I mean, that's your first problem there.
Hey, trust me, I brought this up to the wife many times. I would love to move out there.
Or you could just switch clans. I mean, whichever.
Wow.
Oh, that is harsh.
Wow.
Okay. Hold on here. We gotta get back on this. So we talked about some of the Crucible stuff there. We talked about the Masterworks, which comes out on December 12th. Let's talk about armor ornaments. That's a December 5th coming with the DLC. They're talking about weapon or armor ornaments for like everything: Vanguard faction armor, Crucible faction armor, Trials of Nine, Iron Banner, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy, and Eater of Worlds raid lair armor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we're gonna see what the Trials of Osiris gave us, those kind of ornaments, but just geared towards the different factions.
Well, I mean, we got ornaments for all the raids at the end of D1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think they showed what system is so lovingly calling dildo helmet for the Titan. And that looks like maybe some raid layer armor.
I don't know if that's raid layer or if it's
What kind of raid are we talking about?
Iron Banner helmet. I don't know. Like
It looked
really
it's
weird,
very
because
because it had the
special.
gold. It had the gold gauntlets, which part of it was like raid, but part of it's like, oh, that could be banner.
Yeah, it's like monochromatic, but there's gold pieces to it, so it could be Iron Banner, it could be raid layer. I don't
Could
know.
be New
It's just-
Monarchy.
or if it's New Monarchy, it wouldn't surprise me. But like, it's weird.
I was gonna say that.
But definitely, yeah. I mean, like the energy coming out of his helmet could very well be an ornament, just like how the energy was coming off of you in the end of D1 raid armor. Like legit, yeah.
So that's what it looks like.
Very interesting energy.
I mean, but for the most part, the rest of the
Wait.
ornaments just look like slight cosmetic changes.
Where can I see this?
This week's Bungie
this
Weekly
week's-
update.
Okay,
It's in the video.
Yeah, it's in the video.
Oh.
Well, it's also with their header image.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's in our BS chat too, I think.
Oh, what the?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he is. rocking
Yeah.
Whatever the
His
fuck
horn
that is.
can pierce the sky.
I mean, yeah. I mean, though most of the ornaments, like for the Crucible armor that they did show,
Mhm.
it's a cosmetic change. It gives it a slightly different
And I'm
appearance.
okay with cosmetic changes. It's just something
Oh.
else to grind for. It's something to spend shards on. It's something to do.
Yeah, and I think the way they're implementing it, like it tells you, like to be able to unlock, being able to buy. So first of all, being able to buy gear with your legendary shards, so you're not having to rely on packages. You have to do something. Like the cloak that they do show right there is you have to claim 2 reward engrams to unlock. So you have to at least grind enough to unlock packages to get that.
Mhm.
I think they also show.
They show the Iron Banner one where you got to win
Yep.
25 matches.
Yeah, and that's for the ornament. Like
Right.
that's pretty cool. Like that tells you have to do something. You have to actually play
Mhm.
to get this. And like I think that's a
And
really
one of
really
the other
good
things that I
change.
noticed was it's also a season 2 specific ornament. It says
Yes.
win Iron Banner matches during season 2 to earn
Right.
this.
So maybe
Which-
it's
And
no.
it looks like it's a separate armor piece.
No. I think they're just showing what it'll look like once you
To go to purchase it.
once you
Yeah.
put it on your piece of armor. That's what your armor piece will look like after
Well,
you
so
after
what
you
I'm,
apply
I guess
it.
what I'm trying to figure out is it something that I can just like put in the vault and put on and off at will, or is it going to be expended like shaders?
No, it'll be like shaders.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. And I think
And it'll only be able to be used with that season's armor. And we know that armors and guns will
changing
rotate
seasons,
each
yeah.
season, so it'll probably be that season specific gear ornament, and you'll have to get new ones the next season, which is great.
Yeah, I'm okay with either way it being implemented, whether you can put it on or off, or it's specific to that, and then you can't take it off or whatever. It's just something else to do, and that's something that just needed to focus on, and they've admitted that they didn't before, and they're giving us, as they said, they put it, excuses to play. I don't think excuses is the word I would have used, but they're giving us excuses to play the game,
giving us reasons to play.
I think reasons is better, but they kept saying excuses on the podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, they always need an excuse to do something. I mean, look at Luke Smith, that bastard.
He needs an excuse to get dressed.
He doesn't get dressed. He puts on basketball shorts and a
Yeah,
t-shirt.
that's what I meant. That's
I mean, like, he rolls out of bed wearing that, I'm sure.
Like, heck, he did his Destiny reveal event in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Like, what is he going to get dressy for?
Yeah.
Got no reason
So
to.
I think our point being here, that's good stuff. We like that, right? All good stuff there.
Yeah, it's more reasons to play.
Yay.
For me to put, more time in the game to be able to get those things. Absolutely.
So, question: it says that they are permanently unlocked account-wide, just like exotic weapon ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repurchase exotic weapon ornaments that you've used?
No.
It's already unlocked for your account, so you can apply it whenever you get another one.
Wait, so let's say, for example, you got the ornament for pick a gun, tractor,
Mm-hmm.
and you delete your tractor. Obviously, the ornament goes with it. It was on there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just repurchase one. You have to encounter another tractor ornament, right?
No, I think once you apply it, I think
You
if
can
you get another tractor cannon, it's automatically already applied.
Yep.
And you can just turn it on at will.
Oh, okay, so you can turn it off.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Cool.
Is you could turn on and off these ornaments at will, in theory.
Yeah, which we could do in D1 as well. We could,
right, but I'm saying
we could turn them off.
With shaders right now.
No, you cannot do that with shaders.
Okay, so
that's same with Chroma. Remember Chroma? You got rid of it. It's gone.
One thing before we do move on, though, one thing I did notice is that the token in that Shaxx has is the same as the token we have now, but it's a blue quality instead of green. So either you have to buy those kind of tokens to get something, or you can trade in your green ones to get the blue ones. So if I have 500 green Crucible tokens now, I can trade in those for half of blue ones, maybe?
I believe they mentioned that somewhere.
No, the thing they did mention later was the world resources you could pick up while patrolling.
You mean they'll actually mean something?
Yeah.
Well, they said they were buffing the reputation gain from them because it's so minuscule now. It's almost not worth it to running around and picking up the little resources that are laying around the world. So they're buffing that a little bit. But they didn't. They kept saying tokens, but I think they were mistaken. The fact that they shouldn't have said tokens, they should have said resource.
But then again, like, how many people went around picking up, spin foil or whatever?
If it was a challenge, I used to.
You needed to for like a quest or something, and then after that, you didn't really need to. And the reputation gain from them wasn't worth running around picking them up. Like, if I'm running around, I'm going to go for tokens instead of those because they're so minuscule now. But they're buffing them by quite a bit, so that'll be actually worth going and picking them up.
What would be cool is if for the Osiris Forge weapons, you have to expand some of those.
You do. That was part of the in the stream last week. You had to actually go grind for some of those resources that are around, and you have to find them and then use them for that verse to be able to activate it.
But was that just Mercury resources or all planetary resources?
It looked like it was like Vex specific kind of stuff, and then I'm sure it'll be specific for each enemy type. I'm sure you'll have to go pick up some Cabal ones or some Fallen ones, but they'll have a chance of dropping, or maybe you actually do. I mean, they did say it'll give us a reason to go to other planets, so it's quite possible you'll have to go pick some of those up from Earth or Io or Titan. those weird squiggly looking things on Titan, you know. So we'll see. You know, I think from what they're mentioning now, it's more reasons to grind, and you know, for me to play.
So I'm looking
20
at
Yeah, I like that.
Shax's thing. So I'm looking at Shax's page or
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah.
Are they gonna make the ornaments retroactive to the current armor you have, or do you have to buy the new ones from Shax? And
It
from
looks like you have to get the new season 2 armor to get the ornaments going.
Okay, because that would make sense to me. And
Mhm.
Right. Well, because we're already going to be grinding for the new armor sets anyway. But now it's just I'm going to be able to go in there and buy every set of armor that they're going to release on release day, because I've got 1,200 legendary shards right now in my inventory, and they're only 15 shards for the cloak. So I'm going to
yeah. They did mention that the milestones to unlock those are retroactive.
Nice.
So, like the claiming 2 reward engrams for that cloak, I'm sure we've already all turned in a couple of faction packages for Shax. So that'll be they did mention that that'll be retroactive. I believe they mentioned that in the podcast.
No, it says
Nice.
at the bottom there, you will get credit for engrams you already claimed since launch.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, there you
there
go.
you go.
Perfect.
And I like that all 5 armor slots are present all the time, so you can just go get the armor pieces you want, and then weapons rotate weekly on factions that have them. I think that's a good change. I like
Mhm.
that. It's just available, and that's coming on December 12th, as well as the actual factions. As in, I believe this also includes New Monarchy, Future War Cult, Dead Orbit.
Yeah, does that mean we'll be able to buy stuff from them all the
It's,
time?
from what I understand, yes. We'll be able to get stuff from them all the time.
That would be really awesome.
It
Yeah, it
says
would.
all 5 armor slots will always be present, and weapons will rotate weekly on factions that have them.
Correct. So I would so factions that have them would be the Crucible, Vanguard, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy.
Did you guys notice that Zur page?
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that because I'm really actually not all that happy with Zur.
Okay, I'll wait for you to get there, and then I'll point something
Yeah.
out.
Well, so either way, I think we're gonna be able to buy it straight from the factions, and we'll so I could literally just go in and buy the full New Monarchy set with probably with ornaments I've turned in enough. If I hit all of their credit for Ingrams or whatever that I need to do to hit those. So in theory, we could have a lot of new gear to just go buy if you have a huge legendary shard inventory at launch next week. Well, it's actually on the 12th. Sorry, not the 5th. Take that back. So, but anyways, I guess it's time to go to Zur. So, I'm not happy that 3 of Coins is back. In my 2 cents on that, as I don't. There's enough exotics. Like, I feel like I get exotics almost every time I play. I just get the same ones over and over, which they added a exotic protection, repeat exotic protection system in here, which is all we needed. I don't think we need 3 of Coins, but maybe that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think the drop rate for the exotics is fine, especially the way we've been getting them. I don't know why we would need 3 of Coins. I know that they did mention that it's not going to be stackable, or it doesn't need to be stackable, or it won't be stackable like it used to be in Destiny 1. You just set it and forget it, and it's good for 4 hours or something.
Yeah, it's good for 4 hours, and no need to. It's just good for 4 hours until you get an exotic.
No, it was good for 4 hours. Period.
Just 4 hours. Period.
Yeah,
and it drops
regardless.
and it says drops from any source.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they cost legendary shards, and you can have a nice fat inventory of them. What do you guys think about the faded engram?
I think
I'm
it's
actually
good.
okay with that.
The fact that
I like
the fact that you can only buy one,
Right.
and it's like it's almost 100 legendary shards. Like that's
Right.
cool.
Yeah,
You're guaranteed an exotic you don't have.
That's awesome. I love it.
Which brings me to the my thought on the 3 of Coins is not, yes, exotics do drop fairly frequently now, but for people like Steel, who couldn't get Orpheus Rig for the longest time, no matter how many he turned in, like, sure, they're going to tweak the fact that the duplicates is going to drop, but you're still going to get duplicates, obviously. It's going to happen.
I mentioned this in the chats too. Like, you guys are saying you think that the drop, you feel that the drop rate is pretty good. But for me, all the grinding that I've been doing to get the Orpheus rigs, I've sometimes played for an hour and a half and never gotten an exotic. So for me, that 3 of coins would have helped a lot.
Yeah. And who knows? They may be tweaking the drop rate of exotics to be slightly lower.
But I mean, like, have you ever
I'm
stacked
okay with that if they're
three?
going to do that.
Have you ever stacked 3 exotics or 4 exotic engrams, popped them all at the same time, and gotten like 4 of the same gloves
every time? Yes.
Yeah, that's
I've done that.
Wardcliffe's coils 4 in a row. God.
I still don't have the Skybender's Oath. I want that.
Yeah, I still don't have that either.
But those are like different things, right? I mean, the 3 of coins is supposed to help you get more exotics, the drop rates. Right?
Yeah,
whereas the faded is supposed to give you a new exotic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I guess I just don't see the need for 3 of coins in the current economy. Maybe like System saying, if they're gonna tweak that economy a little bit, then yeah, it might be necessary, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with how 3 of coins worked. I just didn't see it as really a need unless they're going to change something else in the back end.
I think it's catering back for the casual side.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to mention as well. The 3 coins isn't for us; it's for them. That's for that super casual player that wants to make sure that they're going to get an exotic when they play. We're going to play for 4 to 6 hours at a time during the weekend or weekday or whatever. We're going to get at least an exotic or 2. Whereas the casual isn't. They need something that's going to guarantee them an exotic for doing a couple of strikes.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I can see that. I see that.
Did anyone else notice that there was a discrepancy between what Zer's exotic engram he was selling was called? So if the hover over descriptor said faded engram, but on the actual beyond where you just normally hover over, it says isochronal engram.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I know it's the same thing, probably. And
it's just like calling luminous engrams powerful engram.
I know, but I don't know. I think it sounds cooler as isochronal. That way it doesn't just sound like engram that will give you something you don't have. Like, I don't know. Just one of those.
Okay, I see that. It is a little strange that it's named differently, but I guess it does the same thing.
No, it's the same meaning. Isochronal means it's essentially predestined. It doesn't change.
Yeah, uniform in time, having an equal duration, recurring at regular intervals.
Okay, so it's the same
thing. Did you notice the new exotic on the far right?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what the hell that is all day.
It looks like a hunter boot to me.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Or some funny looking warlock boot. I don't know. Like some.
It can't be a warlock boot.
Why can't they be a warlock boot?
Because you have the Titan. Well, you have the Titan arms, the warlock chest that has to be hunter boots.
No. Actually, you know what? That's an ornament. It could be warlock boot ornament. It's an ornament, not actual.
Oh, that would be an ornament.
Look at the eye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
that's an Orpheus rig ornament. Or for the boots that Steel doesn't have.
That could just.
I have it.
Oh, did you get it
finally?
Yes.
All right, yay! Well, unless actually that's the denotion that it's Osiris, kind of like how they did with the Taken King.
Oh, that's possible.
It's a Curse of Osiris item.
Either way, if it's new, it's an ornament. Cool, something to grind for, something to pay my several thousand legendary shards for. Awesome.
Have any of you guys compared Year 1 Destiny exotic count to Year 1 Destiny 2 exotic?
It's about the same.
Really?
I feel like it's less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is less, but I mean, we're also still in vanilla territory. I mean, at the end of
Yeah, I guess you want to
Destiny,
compare vanilla to vanilla. Like what?
But do we really like how many exotics do you use on a regular basis? Like
On my
Two.
hunter, too.
comparatively now to D1 vanilla. Like, I think we use a lot more legendaries these days because they actually feel good.
That's true.
Right, we
You
were
know?
just talking about this in the chat in Clan
Mhm.
too, where none of the exotics in D2 really feel exotic at all.
Right. I mean, Orpheus rigs definitely stand out. You know, there's a few others that are standout, but for the most part, the legendaries actually feel good right now.
Yeah, they
So
do.
you're not forced to, use that Galahorn in the raid. I can use it. I can use a regular auto rifle if I wanted to. I'm not forced to use Cold Heart or Wardcliff Coil or Merciless. I can use other things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Destiny 1
Like
taught me some
Acreus.
lessons.
I don't know, that fighting line, Zach can and
Oh,
Discord can attest to that. That fighting line is really exotic.
Well, I
Yeah,
really
it's
I've
exotic
seen some
trash.
gameplay with it that just looks amazing, and I just need to build a Titan for it. So I don't need to build. I need to finish grinding on my Titan, which I just
Oh,
haven't done.
God.
So I guess I need to do that this weekend.
Why do you need a Titan for that?
There's some bonus perks with the Titan, one of the Titan builds that basically you can use that as a shotgun melee setup where you just point blank shotgun melee, and it's way faster than trying to like triple melee, and it has like a time to kill of like 1.87 seconds or something like that if you just
The
hit a body
fighting
shot
lion?
melee. Yeah, if you body shot melee. And then when you do that with the perk the way it's set up, if you get the melee kill, it automatically reloads the fighting lion.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's just shot melee, shot melee, shot melee.
Mm, it still seems
yeah.
like you might kill someone by accident with that.
Yep. Oh my God. Do you remember when we ran that? That was terrible.
Oh, that was
Oh
the
yeah,
worst.
it was
match.
atrocious. But I was trying to map people with it too. I was trying to like, let me reach back and try to get. It's not designed for that. It's got a perk that's designed like with it that if you get a quick kill with it, like if you kill quickly after hitting them with the gun, it will reload itself, which means it's designed for melee kills. Finish it. So you point blank, shoot melee, shoot melee, shoot melee. That's what it's designed for. And when you watch some guys with some Titan builds, that when you get a melee kill, it instantly refills health and shield, which I think there's one of the Sentinel Titan has that build, I believe. Has one of those perk trees.
Moving
It's
on.
Yeah,
kind of beastly.
bottom one.
Yeah. But anyways, let's talk about some other things coming on the 5th, which include weapon and armor mods.
Yes, better
Yes.
mod economy.
Yes.
Thank
Which is
God.
pretty atrocious right now. But looks like you can just straight up buy mods for legendary shards. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah,
Still
well,
need
you'll
mod components though.
Right.
yeah, you'll
but
still need
in
more
certain
components.
blues.
I think the best part of it is that they rotate.
Mhm.
Each like the one they show is the counterbalance that will rotate. Around, so you're not stuck with only being able to buy a counterbalance. You'll be able to buy it for that'll be available for that day or that week or whatever. So that week that kinetic comes up, you can be buying 15, 20 of those if you have the mod components to do it. And they're also changing it so that the blues mods have a chance to drop a mod component so that you can be able to buy more stuff, because you want to keep as many legendaries as you can, but you want to get rid of the blues.
Mhm.
Right. Exactly. So I think that's a good change overall.
Yeah, I mean, it still definitely needs some more tweaks, I think,
Mhm.
as far as mods go in general. But I think
for
it's a step in
players
the
chasing specific legendary mods, including legendary kinetic mods, like we hear you.
yeah, like I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. The mod system needs to be thought through a little bit more, and I'm sure this is just the first step, and I think it's a good first step.
Good. That means I can maybe empty some of my postmaster.
Yep. And it says on the 5th, Master Rahul will sell some of his rumored hoard of legendary and 4 legendary shards. And it from the description here, it's that will include Masterworks stuff.
See, I don't want his legendary crap. I want his exotic stuff that he's hoarding.
Well, that's the thing is like if you're looking for Masterworks, like someone like me, I've got 1,200 legendary shards ready to go.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna be loaded up here pretty quick.
What's interesting too is it says for players chasing a world legendary. So it's not just like typical legendaries that we see, but like bio-specific legendaries.
Yeah, it's pretty much
legendaries.
It's pretty much bringing Rahul back to his D1 after taking King when he was sold the legendaries. So you'll have a chance at IO specific gear, Titan, Masterworks weapons. You'll be buying
a truly random legendary.
A truly random legendary. So it'll be okay. This is an auto rifle. Okay, cool. Then we buy like 5 of those. Maybe one of those will be a Masterworks Uriel's gift or a Masterworks
Antiope. So bad.
Sure, yeah, something like that. So that'll be nice.
Antelope. Okay, rad.
You can buy. Depending on how many they cost, I'm sure it'll be pretty pricey. Like D1 was. Those things were pretty pricey as far as legendary shards go.
26 or something.
No, I think legendary engrams from Rahul were like 75.
They were.
Yeah,
the armor and stuff. Yeah.
I think the weapons were as cheap as 50, right?
A good reason to grind, so you can get guns to dismantle for legendary shards. Be able to buy things for a chance at other types, and so it's this rolling of, oh crap, I'm out of legendary shards. Let me go grind to get a bunch of guns to dismantle for legendary shards so I can buy this. And it's more reasons to grind, and I think that's good changes.
Yep. Agreed. So then we move on. Another December 12th update. Commander Zaval and Lord Shaxx will sell gift consumables for legendary shards that can be used during a strike or crucible match that will serve the following functions. Grant bonus rewards to everyone in the activity upon completion. Award anything from faction tokens to a round of exotics for everyone in the match, which I think that's an interesting. Around everybody gets an exotic. That's like Oprah level. Like you get an exotic, you get an exotic, you get an exotic. Everybody.
Yeah, it's essentially the Fire Team medallion that you can currently buy from Eververse.
Yeah.
But it works for everyone in a match or a strike or whatever. The only thing I don't agree with is the friend or foe alike part of it, because if I get something and I was the on the losing team, I'm like, why am I getting this? I didn't deserve it. And like that, sure, that's, that part of it is catering to the casual, the participation trophy that we've brought up before. Like, sure, I understand that, but I also don't agree with it. But that's also I don't believe in participation trophies side of me.
It's the friend game is end game token.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a cool system, but
if there's enough to grind for where, oh yeah, I got one when I didn't deserve it one time, isn't that big of a deal? Then, whatever. But that's where there has to be enough rewards and there has to be enough grind for it to not really matter all that much if it happens, once or twice here or there.
It's going to be interesting to see how many people actually buy these gift consumables.
Yeah, because I'm gonna run them during Iron Banner when I'm doing stuff, clan related. I'm running clan events. I'm gonna buy them and use them for those kinds of events in particular because I'm kind of hosting this little event and it's that's what I would want to do. Is hope everybody has a good time. So I want to make sure everybody gets as many rewards as possible. When we're doing stuff like that, but if I'm just solo queuing Crucible, I'm not going to do it.
No, and I would assume that a lot of people won't be doing it when they solo queue.
Yeah.
Side note, something else to remember is that they're going to introduce all these economy changes and everything at the time of the special event, which is most likely going to be useful to dump all of your excess economy into. Like, what if you want that cool ghost shell from the Dawning? Or what if you want that cool Dawning gear? Well, there's all your legendary shards right there. And then they'll have all that
that's
stuff
possible.
later on that exists afterwards.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
bringing up the dawning, I'm wondering if that's going to be one of the milestones, gift so many extra rewards or something like that.
It feels like the dawning got swept under the carpet.
Yeah,
Like,
it may be.
oh yeah, that
just
happens.
like, hey, we have other things that are more important right now, and the live
Well,
team,
they do.
they put it aside for this time.
Yeah. BTW.
If that was really the case, if it's like, hey, that's what we had to do, then so be it. That's what they had to do.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But anyways, another December 12th update is exploit safeguards on chests and resource nodes greatly relaxed, and players should encounter them less frequently. Basically, they're allowing you to continue to grind those activities if you want to grind them over and over again.
Well,
it's really how you want to play. You can play it that way.
No, that's regarding the chest lockout. So if you hit 5 chests in a row, which again, I don't agree with the chest lockout, because if I want to grind and run around Earth for an hour, just hitting every chest I possibly can in rotation, like you used to have to do on the Dreadnought to get the sword.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, if I want to do that, like, let me do that. Don't gate me because I want to do that. Like, that's how I'm going to spend my hour when I'm on. I'm going to do it.
Just let me play the way I want to play.
It also kind of, like, the lockout ability or the lockout feature kind of negates the whole map, the treasure, not the treasure map, the what is it called? The thing
Cade
that highlights.
stash?
Yeah, well, not even the Cade stash. The thing that you can buy from Cade that highlights the chest.
Oh yeah,
it's like if I get locked out at 5, why am I buying that?
Valid point.
I never. Pardon me. Like, maybe I'm dumb. I have not encountered a chest lockout. Is that a thing? Like, you can't get more than 5?
Well, it's not. It's so if you hit so many within a certain time limit, then you get a chest lockout. No, you just don't get anything.
And you open it and you get
or you get 1 token. That's it.
Yeah, you don't get a lot, glimmer. And that's why they're upping. So when you are in chest lockout, you're still going to get a token or 2 now. It's just you're not going to get nothing. Because now if
you're still going to get all the glimmer you would have gotten.
Yeah, like right now, even if you're in chest lockout, you're still going to get the glimmer out of it, but you're not going to get anything else. And they're going to put a visual indicator so that says, "Hey, you're in chest lockout, so you can take a break." So you're not just running around aimlessly hitting these chest after chest. Right. Of which you're losing rewards.
Of frustration until people figured out that was happening, that they're just going around like, oh, I'm opening chests and nothing's happening. And people get pissed.
Exactly. So now, they'll give you what they want to give you a visual indicator so that it goes, hey, chest lockout. Okay, cool. Stop. I'm going to wait in front of this chest until my chest lockout is over. Oh, chest lockout's over. Boom. Hit this chest. Move on to the next one until you hit another chest lockout. And the Reddit community is going to figure out the timing of each chest.
And figure out a perfect map to just keep going around in circles?
Well, not that you can keep going around in perfect circles. It's the timing in between each chest. So you can hit every chest on a planet in the right amount of time so that you can hit every chest in the most efficient manner without hitting chest lockout. So you can boom, 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 go to the next planet, boom, 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 boom. And just keep rotating planets, hitting all the chests. So you can do it the most efficient way possible now that we'll have the visual indicator.
And so, did they say it's going to be a visual indicator or they're just removing the lockout entirely?
No, they're not removing the lockout. The lockout will still be there, and they want to give us a visual indicator.
I think what they really need to do is remove the lockout entirely and say, here, now instead of us limiting your fun, you can have unlimited fun.
Well, and that's the thing
it's a game we paid money for.
Most of the community has brought up that they want the chest lockout gone, but they're apparently dead set on keeping it. They're just going to not severely hamper you when you're in chest lockout, but it's still going to be there. So there's a reason they want to keep that there, and that's the question and answer they're not telling.
Well, I mean, they haven't answered who does it hurt though. I mean, it's not hurting or it's not hurting like in real game, or real life currency being spent on anything. It's not hurting anyone on. It's
I
not
think
helping you get anything that would give you an advantage per se.
I think
I
it's
mean,
just
yeah,
to push you to do other events or other
Yeah.
things.
just like the loot cave.
Yeah,
Oh, we don't
and
like that people are having fun shooting into a cave, so we're
well,
gonna
and
stop.
they brought that specifically up in the
Yeah.
podcast yesterday, and how technically the loot cave wasn't as rewarding as if you went to go do strikes for the same amount of time you were sitting at the loot cave. And yet, yes, it technically does hurt you if you're running around just hitting chests, getting tokens, because you're going to burn through getting all the gear instead of just doing strikes to get that gear on each planet. And you're going to burn through that content faster, and you're going to go over to Reddit and bitch that you're out of content. And that's probably exactly what it is. It's to slow your roll. Don't be so hungry. So chill out, enjoy what we're giving you, do some strikes, do some public events. You'll still get tokens. In fact, you'll probably get more if you just run public events or strikes.
Yeah. Yep. Valid point. And that's, I guess, I hope it all works out well, but I'm sure there's gonna be something that goes wrong. There always is. Always. Man. All right. Let's see. December 12th update. Vendors will now beckon you to hand in your reputation tokens when you're carrying enough to earn reward.
Thanks. Fuck.
Yes.
Yeah. Finally.
No, that is
properly.
the worst thing. I cannot
Oh,
say.
you have 3 tokens. You can come to me and cash them in, but it's not going to rep you up.
Yep.
I hate that.
Yeah. And that launches with all the other faction stuff on the 12th. So that'll all be coming on the same day. More December 5th changes, which are our DLC day. Reputation tokens. So daily challenges will have reward reputation tokens awards increased across the board. So I think that's good.
Yeah, you'll get more tokens for what you're doing.
Right, and it makes those daily challenges matter more.
So instead of 1 token, you'll get 2 tokens in a blue.
Hashtag 2 tokens in a blue.
Man. Cade treasure chests still offer variable rewards, but now guarantee a minimum a payout of destination appropriate reputation tokens. So we'll get a little something.
It's 3.
Yep. 2 tokens in a blue.
Yeah.
Strikes will drop a larger number of Vanguard reputation tokens. So now it's 2 tokens in a blue. Yeah.
No, actually, strikes you get quite a bit of tokens. You actually
I
get
think
like
it's 7.
quite a few now.
Well, that's good. That
So-
means it'll actually be worth it to go sit in the strike playlist for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Common quality destination research tokens will have their drop rates increased to 100%, and values per token increased as well by 50% for common quality and 250% for rare quality tokens. So it actually makes location specific materials matter again, right?
Yeah, and that's the wording for this. They shouldn't have used the word tokens.
Token.
It should have been resource material.
Yeah.
Because it's not a token, it's the random stuff sitting on the ground and on each planet.
Agreed. I think they worded that poorly. But we get the gist here, and that's why we have a podcast, so we can explain the gist to everybody else.
You just need to omit the word token. It's something. A token is something you put into a
token
game
king.
and spin
How
the
can
wheel.
we not talk about tokens?
It just sounds like a carnival game sort of
That's
currency.
what they wanted. They wanted it to be a carnival.
Like play games at Chuck E. Cheese long enough, and you'll get the plastic whistle. Like what? No.
Yeah, I thought that's what Bungie wanted to be. They wanted to be the Chuck E. Cheese of video games.
I think it's funny that they're giving us more tokens, but they're increasing the reputation required to get a package. So like Gunsmith, an extra 50%. It's what, 22 tokens now to get a package from
25,
Banshee?
25 for Banshee, 20 for everybody else.
So that's an extra 12 and a half tokens for Banshee.
It's because Banshee's greedy.
or gunsmith
Yeah.
materials, whatever you want to call it. But like, are you going to give me more materials when I dismantle a gun as well?
I'm hoping so. But you have to also remember, everybody's going to be dismantling their blue mods. That guarantees you gunsmith material. Now,
And
so
if
you're
you
going to
have
have.
That's interesting to
excess
see how that
of
plays out.
if you have excess of legendary shards too, you could just dismantle exotics that you buy from your collection and level up
Yeah,
gunsmith
that's true.
material.
This is true.
That's true. It'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. I'm not sure what these values are going to do for it, but I'm interested to see how it goes.
In all honesty, I just welcome the grind again. I mean, from
Mhm.
not having anything to do to, even if it's repetitive and grindy, having something to do is a better change.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Agreed. And then the Leviathan raid tokens will be redeemed at Benedict immediately upon obtaining a token instead of requiring a full clear before unlocking. Does that mean that Benedict's just like there without having to beat the raid?
Correct.
Aww.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
was a fun
not
little
a
bit.
big fan of that. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should have to clear it to be able to talk to Benedict. But I mean, if you have a small clan or something, and you guys absolutely cannot clear the raid, but you can clear parts of it, okay, sure, I guess. But like, maybe get some new friends, dude.
I love Benedict.
That's what Guided Games is for.
Will Benedict also have Masterworks stuff from him?
I'm pretty.
Would
I
assume
bet
so.
it'll be a small chance to drop when you turn
Yeah.
in packages.
Yeah, I would assume so.
See,
We don't
that's all the more reason why I want people to actually finish the raid to
Mhm.
access him.
Yeah, that's true.
And we don't think he's going to be selling anything, right?
He might.
It's possible.
That would upset me.
Oh, I know. If he sells raid gear and you can
Well,
pick and choose.
So that's the thing, is they
comedy
also
might
did
be
mention-
different.
Well, that's what they said above, which when they talked about the weapons and the armor rotating, and they said on those that offer it, basically. I think it's
Yeah, he may
what they
he
said.
may sell specific things, and you'll have to actually use your tokens to buy that instead of legendary shards.
Like ornaments or something.
Or he may not sell anything at all. They just may decide that he just doesn't, which I'd be okay with. But they're saying there it is. All 5 armor slots will be present, and weapons will rotate weekly on factions that have them. So if they're going to treat raid, because they listed it up above with the the armor sets and ornaments and whatnot, I think the only thing you might get from Benedict is ornaments. I don't think he's going to have armor and weapons available.
That's
My
fine.
personal
That's
opinion.
fine.
But I still agree with Steel and System, where I'd like him to be unlocked first. Because
Right, which I thought that was really cool. Like that was one of the things I enjoyed about completing the raid, was going back and getting to talk to Benedict. Like wait, you can talk to that robot in the tower?
oh
What?
yeah, like people
Like, that
just
was
kind
really
of
cool.
people just looking at you like, what the hell is going? He's just standing there
Yeah.
talking to him. The sweeper bot.
Yeah, it was cool. I like that. But so kind of disappointed there, but it's not like a make or break thing, so I guess I can't do much.
It's a cater to the casual thing.
Yep, exactly. So they're talking about patch notes, gameplay tuning, yada yada. We'll be providing preload and launch details, which they did, as well as roadmap for season 2 content, which includes the Dawning in mid-December. So Dawning is coming mid-December.
Yeah, I think that's gonna hit December
Probably the
12th.
week of the 18th.
No, it comes the 12th.
Yeah, we're gonna get it the 12th. Mm-hmm.
I say the 19th.
I say
I don't.
the 12th.
No, I think it comes the 12th. They wouldn't put a date on everything on the 12th. It makes sense that the Dawning would come with all the rest of the patches.
It makes sense that it would come with the patches, but at the same time, I think they would have put a date on it. If
Put your money where your mouths are. Vote with your Antiope, whatever, Antelope. Zach.
I don't have one.
Well, I don't think that
Adjudicator.
I don't think they wanted.
I will
don't think they
delete
put
my adjudicator if it's not on the 19th.
I think they didn't put a date on it because of the fact that there's
something not done. There's something not done with
right. There's something not done with it, and they had to push it aside for some of these other things. So they're probably shooting for the 12th with the rest of this hotfix.
Yep. And then if
But
not, it comes the 19th.
If not,
which is
it
the following
comes later. Yes, and then they don't have a set date and have everybody lose their fucking minds.
Exactly. Which we talked about on the podcast, which is not giving us not promising something and then accidentally falling short on it, even though they fully intended to follow through on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But my money's still on the 12th.
Okay. We'll see. What are you going to delete if it's not the 12th?
The fuck do I have? You know what? No.
Do you have an Antiope?
No, I do not have an Antiope.
Do you have a I don't know. What's something we can have him delete?
His account.
His
You're
whole account?
terrible.
That's,
How about this? I will dismantle my the Iron Banner mark because it took me forever to get that fucking thing.
Okay, that's fine.
Look, I literally scraped it in the last day of Iron Banner.
Anyways, moving on.
Okay. All right.
We're talking about the
Come on now.
banner
Let's have a little fun here.
or the emblem.
No, the actual Titan mark.
the Titan mark.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
all that grinding and it's only available in one, which means by the time you're back,
Yeah.
you better hope you're not. You better hope you're
I
right.
hope to God I'm. I hope to God I'm right. I have I tried so hard to get the full set for
I
the
will make you
Titan.
do that on stream. All right. Anyways, moving on here. XP mechanics. So they're just acknowledging here that they screwed up pretty bad. With the XP. But it's saying that they didn't adjust it in the UI, but they adjusted it on their backend server. If I'm understanding this correctly, is that right?
I think they talked in circles to confuse everyone. So they're like, we did it on the back end, but on the front end, blah 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 blah. They're confused and have no clue what we did. No,
Pretty
Reddit
much.
knows.
Even the way they explained it on the podcast was very much the same thing. Whereas we changed it in this section, but we didn't change it in this section.
Well, no, each activity gives you a certain amount of XP, but 160k total XP. If you're running publics, you're not going to level that fast. If you're running strikes, you're doing it at a different rate. They just want to even out the rate that you're earning across the board, so you can switch from each. You're not going to get locked into
an
just
hour
doing
is an hour is an hour. Still going to give you 160k
exactly,
regardless of activity.
Yeah, they don't want you to get set into just doing public events or just strikes.
Right. They don't want to say, well, if I really want to get the maximum number of bright Ingrams, I have to go do public events. You should be able to play however you want to and still get the same amount of XP as long as you're playing, which is fine. But yeah, I think what they're saying is they updated the back end to reflect a different value than the UI on what would require a patch for on our end, which is what all the streamers were testing things. It's like, no, see, it takes 160k, and Bungie's like, no, it says it's actually something different. It's like, no, we fucked up on the back end. We fixed it over there, but we didn't over here, and so that's why there's values that don't correspond with one another. So that's where they're saying the confusion is, and basically they screwed up, and that they listed out how they're going to fix it, and ultimately it's it is what it is. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal in the long run, as long as they're willing to put in 3 paragraphs to explain it when they change it, like they did this time, which is just being open about it, not being shysty about it.
Well, that's all we really want.
Yes, we don't want them to be shysty.
Otherwise, they lose $3.1 billion.
Yeah. Hi, EA. How you doing?
And you blow up.
Guess what I didn't buy?
What?
Star Wars
Battlefront
2.
No, I didn't buy Battlefront 2.
Battlestars.
Battlestar
Yeah.
Starfront 2.
Dude, it is midnight here, and I've been up since 4 a.m. So
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're getting to the end here, but that does bring up a valid point, which is I think this is a much better way to handle it than EA did, than EA's downvoted Reddit posts like crazy. And I think that what they have listed here is a good start.
like I said, it's a very well-placed fist of panic. They reacted to what was needed and what they saw was coming down, and they did a good job with it. Now continue with this pattern so it doesn't have to come to this point again.
Exactly.
You got to give Deej some credit this week, though.
Yeah, Deej has been on point. Like I posted a couple of his replies on Twitter. Like he's just on point with it, and I'm just loving reading his comments back to people as people just like blow up at him, and he's like, yeah, I'll do an interview with the Jez so I can say a bunch of stupid things.
Yeah, but that's not angry. That wasn't an anger. That was because people wanted the stream so that the Jez could make a new video
Right,
on awkward
and
stream moments.
And people are just constantly, hitting him with things. And it doesn't matter what it was. It was that, and there were other things. Like he took it though, and he redirected it.
Well, that's because he finally got the clear to actually speak to the community.
I know, right, exactly.
That's the thing.
What I mean.
He's been on lockdown,
right? But this week he's been fantastic.
Well, this week is what Deej used to be in D1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but he's been on lockdown because the studio's been on lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He can only give so much information for what he knows. I mean, you gotta think, if they're not communicating within each other, he's probably sitting there looking, going, I need to say something.
Yeah. Let's see here. Was there anything in the TWAB that we cover other than there was some pretty cool looking armor and weapons in the video?
Short little 48-second video, some cool armor and new emotes, and just a reminder.
Sweeperbot emote and a mic drop emote. Come on now.
That was nice.
I like this. I need the Sweeperbot emote.
Yeah, the reminder that the weekly reset is changing next week.
Yeah.
To a different time, and how big the update will be. But other than that, that's pretty much
your little spider grenade launcher.
Yeah, another viewpoint of that grenade launcher, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So we actually got to see the spider bot in action.
Yep, that was good.
And then I had my hour-long scouring for Red Death lore because System asked a question.
Go ahead, explain.
So when you look at the top
header
image, the header image,
mm-hmm.
there's a hunter holding a hand cannon that looks quite a lot like Red Death.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to spend an hour scouring for every piece of Red Death lore that I could find for any mention of a hand cannon. There is nothing.
Steel. Do you think Steel? What do you think is going to be better, Cold Heart or whatever this new fire tracer rifle is going to be?
If it causes burn damage, then yeah, this one.
Game over.
What if it's a legendary?
I don't think it is because it looks like there are probably most likely all.
Yeah.
It looks like it would make sense that they're all holding exotics. You've got that exotic that should be an exotic rocket launcher or a grenade launcher that's shooting.
Yeah, we know for sure that that's exotic.
Okay, and it would make sense that a Red Death hand cannon would be an exotic, like the Red Death Pulse. So that, and then the Cold Heart's already an exotic, so you would think that its fire-breathing partner would also be an exotic.
Correct.
So it would appear that they're all holding exotic weapons.
The one thing that I did see when I was scouring System is that there's a lot of people wondering if this new hand cannon is going to be an equivalent to a thorn. Not as far as like poison or anything like that, just a bane of existence that this thing could technically be.
Right, yeah, because we know that, Red Death comes from the auto rifle version, and they, tweaked it to be the pulse rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And so this could be a tweak of that, and it could be a perfected version of it, or a slightly different, or somebody's other twisted version of it.
Yeah.
Well, because they say there's a lot of prototypes of Red Death out there.
Right.
We had the auto rifle in D1. I mean, it's safe to say that maybe there is a perfected version of a prototype that just happened to be a hand cannon.
What would be cool is if one of the perk on it is if you get a melee kill after having dealt damage with it, it heals a part of your health.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
That would be interesting. I would like it if it just straight gave you health when you got a kill with it, because then I would use that like all the time.
No, and then it would put us back into the Red Death meta, like it did,
which I
it did before, and
I like that meta. Go away.
Stupid PvP
I mean-
guys.
Well, so that's the other thing though, is because it's season 2, there's going to be a new meta anyways. So, and then season 3 they'll balance it the crap out of it and nerf it in the ground, and it won't be usable anymore. So let me enjoy it for 3 months.
No.
I don't know. Unless they do something to Mida, I think it's still going to be a staple.
Oh, I think I think Might is still going to be usable. But I fully expect the multi-tool to drop from number 1 to probably barely in the top 10.
No way.
By the end of season 2, you're going to see the multi-tool. It'll still be in the top 10, but I don't think it's going to be in the top 5.
No, especially with all those random rolls from Masterworks.
Exactly, and with the new season 2 balance patch, if it's really like what they're talking about, you're going to see other things are just going to be better.
Well, the question is how good will Midas still be as a team fire weapon as it is now?
Oh, that's true.
It may still be amazing as a team fire.
Right, but if if other scouts suddenly get buffed, maybe they buff the range a little bit on Black Scorpion, that'd be a way better team fire weapon.
You know what I'm kind of hoping? I'm kind of hoping this hand cannon is really good for PvE and not PvP. Just
get out of here.
Just to upset Zach.
Just to upset me.
Well, it would be a good balance to devour for warlocks, so other people could use something like it.
That's true.
That's true.
Because if I could be a Titan or a Hunter, or even a Warlock not using Devour, it would actually be really good. Be great.
That's very true. Very true.
Especially for like the raid.
That is also true.
Well, I think we talked about everything. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
No, I pretty much covered all of it myself.
The size of Mercury's map. You can't summon a sparrow, and you have to walk around, and it's like a small donut. That's all.
Well, that's just sad.
I think we covered that last week.
Did we?
But no sparrows?
Yeah, we covered that last week.
Yeah, that seems a little strange.
Well, I mean, you couldn't summon your sparrow in the Dreadnought, so...
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
Not that big of a deal. And it's really not, and it's not that far of a run or a walk straight from the lighthouse to the Infinite Forest door. It's just there's these extra little things there to do before or after you come out of the Infinite Forest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but I mean, this is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now. 5 days from now, we're gonna get this DLC. So we are right on the cusp of that. So,
we're just in the first.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm getting pretty excited. So we'll see how that goes, and then just as a reminder, I said this at the beginning of the episode, but there's going to be another episode coming out right after this one that is all about the lore leading into the Curse of Osiris expansion. So if lore is more your thing, please tune into the next episode.
We even got a guest for that one too, I think.
We do have a special guest for that one.
Mahor.
Yes.
Or as Raven calls him, Mahor.
Oh, that's sounding all fancy and refined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should call him.
It's not Milady, it's Mahor.
We should call him that the whole podcast.
Mahor, what do you think?
All right, guys. Well, I think this has been a good episode. I appreciate you all for hanging out tonight.
I see. I don't think the Mercury map's going to be that bad. You know why? You know why, Discord?
Why?
Because it's so pretty.
All right, let's see how long that lasts.
Well, you get to go to the lighthouse for the first time. Is that what you're saying?
Nessus is pretty too.
Nessus is pretty too. Oh,
Yeah, but
I was
how
wondering-
quickly?
What
how
what is a
quickly?
Nessus?
How quickly did we get fed up with the dreadnought running around? Lasted.
Oh.
That was about a week before we got annoyed with that.
That's
Yeah.
also
So,
true.
no difference. We dealt with it for year and a half.
But I mean, this place looks as big as like the place where the Cabal ship land or crashed into the dreadnought, like that big.
Well, it's technically bigger once you're in the public event / strike.
Oh, the most rewarding public event. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, with 2 tokens and a blue.
We'll see.
And you forgetting the glimmer. There's gonna be glimmer.
Ooh, 50.
I checked it out
Anyways.
really quick. The Destiny 1 exotic count versus Destiny 2 vanilla, just vanilla. There's actually a ton more for Destiny 2 versus Destiny 1 vanilla.
Oh,
How many
There's
more?
only 18 for vanilla Destiny. Didn't count all Destiny 2, but just the weapons alone is already 19.
Good to know.
nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, then you have to separate it between weapons and like class armor and all that kind.
Very interesting.
Good job, Steele.
Well,
I got bored hearing you guys talk.
it's
Here,
understandable.
have a Scooby snack.
Yeah.